Well, good morning, and thank you all for coming out today. And I particularly want to thank our Council President, Sherri Lightner, and Councilmember Scott Sherman for joining us today. Unfortunately, Councilmember Kersey wasn't feeling well, so he couldn't make it, so the Shermanator is always there to pinch in. I'll tell you, I'm excited about today, because as mayor, one of the things that I've been pushing for is more openness and transparency so the city government can be held accountable to achieving results that are building our better future. Today is another step toward that goal. We're here to announce the results of the city's resident satisfaction survey. And we all hear, I think all of us all the time, about government entities say they want to know what people are thinking. Well, we actually did something bold. We asked them. We conducted a very thorough and comprehensive survey of San Diego residents, simply to say, how's the city doing and how are we spending your tax dollars? I never forget that as mayor that we are first and foremost in the customer service business. We interact as a city with our residents and neighbors on multiple occasions every single day of the year in one form or another. Librarians, trash and recycling pickup, issuing permits, providing clean and safe water. Police officers and firefighters keeping us safe. Look, we are in the business as a city of serving 1.3 million people 24/7, 365 days a year. So we need to know how we're doing and how we can improve. And that's what this was all about. The survey the city conducted at the end of last year asked residents a variety of questions about the services being provided. There's a lot of positives to take away from the results. For example, residents think the quality of public safety services is very high. The city also scored very well with library and trash services. And while there's good feedback on those services, there's also, as you can imagine, room for improvement. And it will probably come as no surprise to anyone here today that in San Diego that the conditions of our streets and our overall infrastructure did not receive high marks. We're not hiding that information. In fact, we're making it public and talking about it. Because I will continue to use that as evidence when I'm working with my council colleagues to continue to fund programs that ramp up streets and neighborhood repairs. And it's why I've made fixing our streets the city's top infrastructure priority. We're scheduled to repair 300 miles of streets this year alone, on our way to repairing 1,000 miles of streets in the next 5 years. And when we're done, we'll have repaired more than 1/3 of the city's street network. And of course, we're embarking on nearly $500 million in neighborhood repairs in this year's budget alone. The focus on infrastructure, it's what we need to do, it's what our residents clearly want us to do. But you can't change what you don't measure. You have to track it. So we've never done a survey as robust as this one. And now that we have this data we can use to make changes and get even better results. That's the goal. That's the objective. It's also how we're able to hold city departments accountable and employees accountable for the work that they're doing as we strive to improve customer service across the board. Delivering strong customer service and getting the job done. That's what this is all about. So now I'd like to introduce Almas Udris, who's the director of the city's Performance and Analytics Department, to explain a little bit more about the survey. Almas?
Thank you. Almas Udris, Director of Performance and Analytics at the City of San Diego. I want to thank Mayor Faulconer and the City Council for supporting this effort. I'm proud to say that our team delivered this project on time, under budget, and with a far higher response rate and lower margin of error than we had originally planned. To get into some of the details, 9,000 city residents were randomly selected and mailed copies of the survey, with the option of completing it by mail, telephone, or online. I have the survey here on the iPad, which is one way folks were able to complete the survey. We received 2,478 responses, putting our response rate at 28%, which is considered to be a very good response rate. About half of the respondents responded by mail, with roughly a quarter going online and another quarter responding by phone. The mayor mentioned this is the most robust survey of this type that we've ever conducted. Past surveys only sought input from 600 residents and only via the telephone. This effort quadruples past efforts in terms of responses, in part, we believe, because we made it easier for residents to connect with us. The demographics of the survey track closely with U.S. Census demographics when it comes to age, gender, and race. As for the highest rated services, public safety, specifically fire rescue services, stand out at 78%, as do libraries at 76% satisfaction and solid waste services at 70%. Infrastructure does the least well by far at only 24% satisfaction. When you overlay what our residents think is very important for the city to do with what they are the least satisfied with, infrastructure is the runaway winner. Just as there are many reasons residents responded the way they did, there are many factors that will help us move the needle on these results. From process to management, policy, communication, and outreach all play an important role. Our team stands by to do further research and work on more targeted surveys as needed, and use the data to help improve city services. It can be a little bit unnerving to actually ask our residents for their opinion, but Mayor Faulconer and the City Council have shown strong leadership in reaching out to hear what our residents have to say, and I thank them for supporting the effort. This survey sends a message to San Diegans that our city is stable, restoring services, and interested in partnering with you to build an even better San Diego.
Thank you, Almas. Next up, I'd like to introduce our City Council President, Sherri Lightner. Sherri?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me to be here today. I do represent this district. I am absolutely delighted to see the overlay going in down the street. It's just going to be great to go to PetSmart after this. As the mayor mentioned, this survey is important on so many levels. We need to know how members of the public feel about the services and programs provided by the city. City council and staff really take this information to heart, and we do our best to focus our efforts based on the feedback that's provided by the public. I'm pleased to see that our police, firefighters, and lifeguards were the most highly ranked services provided by the city. Based upon the combined percentages of very satisfied and satisfied, 66% of residents noted the effectiveness of local police protection, and 59% were satisfied with visibility of police in the city. How quickly police respond was also ranked highly by over half of the people surveyed. 78% of the respondents were either very satisfied or satisfied with fire and rescue services, with a 72% satisfaction level for our lifeguards. Additionally, 83% were satisfied with how quickly firefighters respond and the effectiveness of the local fire protection. City parks and libraries are among the programs and services also rated highly, just below essential services such as police, fire, and water. The city parks and recreation services received a 75% satisfaction rating for availability of facilities and 73% for maintenance of our beaches. As a council member representing beach areas, beach safety and maintenance is something that I continue to advocate for in our city budget. 69% of the residents indicated they were also satisfied with the maintenance of city parks, and 68% were satisfied with the hours of operation at city parks and recreation facilities. I have consistently advocated for park and recreation programs and facilities, and it's great to see these programs thriving again and to see that residents are actually noticing this. As for libraries, it's clear that residents are glad to see the hours restored. 77% of respondents indicated they were either very satisfied or satisfied with the availability of library facilities. 76% indicated satisfaction with the quality of services at libraries in their neighborhoods. Libraries are another area of advocacy for me, and they continue to be as we prepare for the next year's budget. I continue to advocate to restore more hours for libraries, and as a proponent of STEM education for our youth, I have proposed that at least 2 libraries in every district have a Fab Lab for students. Fab Labs are a great way to provide hands-on learning and get students excited about science and engineering. My council colleagues are enthusiastic about this proposal, and many have indicated already their plans to support it. Councilmember Shermanator, does that mean? Including Scott. I know how important emergency services, park and recreation facilities, and libraries are for our communities, and I am happy that the City Council can help restore these services for our residents, as they clearly rank very highly in the survey. In closing, I'd like to thank the City's Performance and Analytics Department for their efforts on this survey, and I look forward to seeing the results in future years. I won't get to evaluate them and include them in the budget process, but maybe you'll see me at City Council. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sherri.
Yeah.
I want to thank Council President Lightner and Councilmember Sherman. This has been a team effort since the very beginning, since I was elected, working closely with my colleagues on making sure we are improving neighborhood services. This has been bipartisan support. This is how we're moving San Diego forward. And so I'm very proud to introduce another champion, just like our Council President of Infrastructure, Councilmember Scott Sherman. Scott?
Yeah, thank you all, and thanks for including me in today's lineup. I was very happy to be here in the beginning when we kicked this off down in Mission Valley, talking about the customer satisfaction survey. And coming from the private sector, I was gung-ho about this from the very get-go, because, I mean, we hear a lot when people are complaining, but we don't hear a general consensus of what people think about overall services. So it was important to get out and look at things and get the opinion of the voters and the taxpayers. You know, there was a few surprises, but there was also a few things we kind of knew what were going to be on that survey. And the way we deal with our homelessness issue, we kind of knew we need to do some work, and we've been working down that direction for a while now. We're changing how we deal with services, kind of moving towards a housing first model. And yesterday you saw a big step in that direction when it came to housing our homeless veterans. We did the Housing for Heroes effort yesterday, where the program to get 1,000 homeless vets off the streets and in housing started yesterday at council with a unanimous vote. And coming from a military family, you know, my father was a sergeant in the 101st Airborne, and I have this affinity for our veterans. You know, they voluntarily put their lives on the line. Some of them made the ultimate sacrifice. Many of them have issues well down the road dealing with their time serving us to keep us free and give us our liberty. So I think when they need to call upon us, as we called upon them, it's imperative for us to do something about it. And we took a very good first step out yesterday. We knew that what we've been doing for a while now needed to change. And yesterday you saw, I think, the beginning of a lot of changes on how we address the homelessness issue. But I think overall what this really shows is that you have a very receptive city hall, one that wants to get the input of the taxpayers, wants to know how we're doing, where we're doing bad, where we're doing good, and where we can do better. And I think that mentality of how may I help you is starting to really take root at City Hall, and I think we're moving in the right direction. I just wanted to thank the mayor and the council president for helping and move it down the road in the right direction. And thank again for coming here today and being a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Well, the entire survey is online, all 57 pages, I believe it. Almas has a copy here. Again, thank you all for coming, and we're happy to answer any questions one-on-one with any of you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Sherri. Thank you very much.